We had a good time though.
Well, you were stationed in Africa and
I
Italy?
was, yeah. And my group, we were in Providence, Rhode Island. The ground crew, they were going to leave New York by boat, and they had to have about 15 or 20 men in the air echelon to go ahead. We were to go by air, and I was chosen as the air echelon supply sergeant. So we started from there, and they gave us our own orders. I remember this very close friend that I met. He was from Little Rock, Arkansas. We traveled together. So they gave us the orders. Says the main thing you do, just look at the bulletin board every morning, and if you get on that flight, catch it. So we left. First, we went by train from there to Miami, Florida. And I remember we stayed in the Battle Creek Hotel for about 3 weeks before we could get out of there. So I thought, well, this is fine. I don't mind staying here. And next, we finally went and saw the bulletin board, and they briefed us again and told us that they thought we'd have another flight out to South America. So I know we got on that. We went to Natal, Brazil. That's where that was our next stop. And we were there about 3 weeks. And I've never eaten as much pineapple and bananas in my life. They had the table piled full for dinner, supper, and breakfast. So we stayed there, I think it was almost 3 weeks. I thought, well, I'll never see anybody I know, but I remember I saw this Navy guy walk in one day and walked over, and it's Fred Jones, Jr. He was in the Navy. He said, what are you doing here? I said, well, we're on our way to Africa. Well, anyway, they briefed us that next day and told us that our next stop would be I may be wrong about this, the Ascension Islands. It's a very small island. And we were traveling in a bucket seat plane. You know, you could see out everything. And I remember we got pretty close to that. I didn't sleep all night. At night when we were flying, I thought, oh, Lord. I looked down and saw that island. It looked like it's looked like it's big enough to just park a car. It was real small. So we landed there. It's just an outside place. They were fixing breakfast for all the troops that happened to stop there. Mm-hmm. So we had our breakfast there, and our next flight was to Accra. That's the Gold Coast in Africa, isn't that right? I may be wrong. Anyway, at that time, you know, during this war, we got caught without any planes hardly. So I remember at that time of year, it was in 42, they were having the Yalta meeting in Casablanca, Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin, and they sent Air Force down, to pick us up. I think there's about 12 of us. We got there in Casablanca, and of course, I thought that was a big honor to be on Air Force.
You rode on the plane with?
But it was a lot different to what they have now. And I remember we got there, and where we parked, we saw the building where all those guys were holding this meeting, mm-hmm. And they warned us before we got there. Said, "Now you know we have several air raids here," and said, "You're right at foxholes all around here." So it's about midnight, I guess, between 11:30 12 that night. We had an air raid there, and this guy was with me. His name's Jack. I said, "Jack, let's hit the foxhole." There's just one right there. We both got in the same foxhole, but nothing happened that night. But we were scared to death, but we didn't know because there was really Germans all around over there, and of course they knew the meeting was going on there.